What's going on, guys? Metal Complex here. I want to do another video today because I didn't get one out yesterday, and I uploaded my first this morning. And I'm itching to do this. I'm itching to talk about these two, or this model in general, because this knife is the knife that got me into the hobby. This is the knife that kind of pushed, like really pushed me over the edge into the more premium and measurably functionally better knives out there. These are both the same knife, and the reason I've got them both in here is because one is the standard version and one is the upgraded version. Again, people watching, some people are going to know what this is already, and some people are not. And this is a knife that's been talked about already endlessly on YouTube. It's already received tons of praise. You know, I'm not doing anything new here. I just want to talk about it because I love these. I think they're super cool. About knocked it off the edge there. So neither of these are owned by me. They're actually owned both by the same guy. And this guy uses one of them, and one of them is one that he just kind of keeps pretty, and he was nice enough to let me borrow these to do this video today. I have owned the original premium version of this. Let's just go ahead and talk about it here. These are ZT 0562s. I'm going to flip this black one over here in a sec so you can see what's super cool about it. But these knives, the standard version of the knife, brand new, runs about $200 if I'm not mistaken, and the upgraded model, which we'll go over what the upgrades are, runs about $240. Now, I've owned the original upgraded model of this, which is this exact knife here with a carbon fiber front scale and an M390 blade. Böhler M390 is my favorite steel. It is, as far as I understand, manufactured in Sweden. It is a super high chromium content blade with excellent edge retention and decent toughness. Excellent for a folding knife, though. This original, or this standard model, comes in a blade steel called Elmax, which is similar to S35VN. It's very tough, meaning, you know, great for hard use. Holds a reasonable edge. So let's talk about the 0562. The ZT 0562 is a Rick Hinderer design. You can see it right there. 0562 Hinderer design, Kai USA. This is a USA manufactured knife. This knife, in my opinion, is one of the best folding knives out there. Not by, you know, if we're not talking about price, I'm just talking in terms of an everyday carry knife. This is one of the best ones out there. This is the reason that I was interested, or this is what I settled for when I was interested in Hinderer. And I got to say, I can make a really good case for this knife over a Hinderer, even being someone who owns a Hinderer, right? You look at these two, it's the same profile. They're the exact same size and length, right? Nearly the same thickness, not quite the same thickness. Anyways, so this is a G10 front scale. It's got a titanium liner right here, and then this side is full titanium, and it's a titanium frame lock. One major bonus right off the bat, this screw right here, that screw holds the steel lock bar insert, which up until this year, Rick Hinderer, he didn't have that on his knives. His Gen 5s will actually have that lock bar insert, if you didn't know about that, which is pretty cool. So these knives have those lock bar inserts, which is awesome. They also have the Hinderer lock bar stabilizer, which is the disc that keeps the lock bar from over traveling, as you can see right there. So anyways, let's talk about why this knife is great. It's always great to have titanium, definitely, because titanium, let's just say, for lack of a better explanation, does not corrode. Technically does. I'm not going to go into that, but no, it's not going to corrode on you, right? The G10, especially a peel ply texture, that's that, you can kind of see the texturing in there. That's great. Medium traction, which is awesome. It's on bearings. This is not an assisted opening folder. ZT's detent is the best, in my opinion, the best that I've handled. Well, you know, amongst the 70 or so knives that I've handled, ranging anywhere from high-end production through super high mid-tech, or, as I said in the previous video, arguably custom, these detents are perfect. And by detent, I mean what it takes to break the blade free and deploy. Those roller bearings are responsible for that quick deployment, and it looks as fast as the blur that I was showing in the previous video, which is great. There's no torsion bar to wear out in there. It's just bearings. Some guys don't like bearings. They say that you know, it's something else internally that can go wrong. It's something else that can fail in the knife. And I'm going to make an argument for this, because this knife, it looks brand new, but actually Rob uses it as his skinning knife. The gentleman who's letting me borrow these, this is his primary everyday carry, and I convinced him to buy it because I told him, I said, you need to upgrade to a more premium knife. Carry it with you. You'll love it. You'll appreciate it after you use it. And he does. He's skinned multiple deer with it. On Blade Form somewhere, I have a picture of this thing, let's say very dirty with deer. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but this thing has been used to skin deer multiple times, and the insides have been gunked up, and it was still perfectly functional. He has had this sent into ZT once just to have it resharpened, and it took quite a while, according to him, to actually get the blade dull. But great example of what a knife comes back from ZT looking like. You can see the engagement there. I want to say he's owned this thing for 2 years now, something like that. Try and get this to focus. There's the engagement. Looks like about 100% on the lock bar insert, but about 50% overall, maybe a little bit over 55%. Let's compare it to a brand new one that hasn't even been used. You can see the engagement there. A little bit earlier on that lock bar insert, maybe about 30% overall. Same detent. This one is super cool. We're going to get to that in a sec. But going on about this, these are not thumb studs. These are those lugs that I was talking about with my hinder. It has the same type of deal on the hinder. These right here lock into place up there. Same exact design, but you don't need them for deployment. Ergonomics are perfect. Some jimping up there. Super easy to disengage. Put in the pocket. It does have a deep carry pocket clip. He's got it set up for tip up, which is how I prefer it. Super easy deployment. I mean, like for a flipper, there's a lot of flippers out there I've handled that weren't done correctly. There's a lot of knives in general I've handled that were not done correctly. The ZT-0562 is done perfectly. It's perfect. It's one of the few knives out there where I wouldn't change anything about it. Pillar construction, that's a major advantage, even though it does have screws on both sides, which is something I touched on that I didn't like in some knives. A Benchmade, for example. In my last video, I talked about the blower. The screws go all the way through. These are bigger screws, and they go deeper into the standoffs. I have no concern whatsoever that those are going to back out over tons and tons of flips. In fact, it's never happened with these, either of these or the one that I owned, right? So ZT-0562 for $200 on this base model, or even $240 for the upgraded model, that's an excellent buy for what you're getting, because there are a lot of knives that are built just like this, including the Hinderer, that don't have some of the upgrades that cost more, right? Now, these are all factory produced, but they are produced, these 0562s, the real ones, are produced all USA by ZT. So everything's going to fit super well. You're not going to have anything that looks wonky. You know, the blade is going to be, let's look at this one. Fresh back from ZT. It actually is centered on that standoff, which is great. Super cool. Let's talk about this one. So, one of my favorite places to buy knives is USA Made Blade. And it's run by a guy named Scott, and he's an awesome guy. He's got an awesome channel. I think you can check that out on YouTube at USA Made Blade. So he actually will do some knives with some custom graphics, and he does an excellent job. I'm going to turn this over and show this knife on the other side. Super cool. It's a little bit dusty. Those aren't marks, but he calls his stars and stripes. So this is what Scott does to some of his knives that he sells there at USA Made Blade, and I want to show this up close here. It's We the People, and it's got the stars and stripes graphics there on the body. So the upgraded model of the ZT-0562 comes in CPM 20CV. You can see it there, Kai USA CPM 20CV. This is a sprint run of the knife, which is just a limited run that's in all black, and it comes in the upgraded steel. And this We the People and Stars and Stripes graphic just makes it that much more unique. So there's very few of those out there. If not, I don't know that I've actually ever seen another one that's all black and has the black Stars and Stripes on it. So very cool knife. CPM 20CV is the American equivalent to M390. It's produced by Crucible, which is the CPM. I believe that stands for Crucible Powder Metallurgy, and I might be wrong about exactly what that's called, but that's what that is. So same thing as M390. They just don't use M390 anymore on the upgraded version of the knife. But that I pushed Rob to go for this because he's very into the American flag look, and he loves the 0562. So he actually bought two of these, one standard and one upgraded. Carries this one, and this one's just for fun. And he's getting into it, and he's a fan. So Scott over at USA Made Blade, I don't know if you're going to see this or not, but thank you. This is awesome. Rob brings it in all the time to show off, and I just think it's super cool. If you have not picked up a ZT knife, or you don't know anything about ZT, but you're interested in more high quality folding knives, ZT is a great place to start, and the 0562 is an amazing place to start, and it'll actually, in my opinion, it will immediately set a super high bar for what you expect in a folding knife. And it did for me, and it ultimately transitioned into this Rick Hinderer, a full-on Rick Hinderer. But honestly, you could buy this knife and never need to buy another knife again. And I think that's what Rob has got going on here. He got the original and got the upgraded one, and he's good with that. So just wanted to talk about ZT for a sec, and why I love this knife so much. If you're interested, give it a shot. It will not let you down. These are super cool. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, comment. If you've got one of these knives and you really love it, comment. I really want to talk about this. I love that there are a few people watching and there's a few people subscribing. I just think that's really, really cool, and I appreciate everybody who's subscribed so far. So yeah, let's just keep going.